I was making a business about UConn.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. The time is 7:31. This is the regularly scheduled meeting for April 8th. Clerk, can you please do a roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Bliss.
I'm here.
Councilman Fleming.
Here.
Councilman Muir.
Here.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Here.
Councilman Soltis.
Here.
Councilor Wright.
Here.
Mayor Grafstein.
I'm here, thank you. The invocation and pledge of allegiance this evening will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Bliss. I invite you to stand if you would like.
As we gather here at tonight's council meeting, we remember that all we have in this world is a gift which always requires the collaboration of human hands. In Madison Heights, our volunteers have been and are the lifeblood of our city. Their contributions are visible all around us, all throughout Civic Center Plaza, and into the entire community. Thank you to all those volunteers who offered and continue to lend us their time and their talents, bringing healing, hope, and compassion to our community and all those in need here. Lila Richards, who we honor here tonight, was one of those volunteers. And we found out prior to tonight's meeting that one of our city's biggest volunteers, former Councilman Rich Clark, passed away as well. They gave so much of their lives to this community. Rich Clark, in particular, spent so much effort helping our city's seniors. So I ask that we all observe a moment of silence to reflect on their lives and offer our prayers and condolences to their families during this difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you. First up, we have approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions this evening?
Your Honor, I make a motion to add 2 items to the agenda. Trying to find the name here. Do you got that for me?
I can tell them to you.
The
They'll
first,
both be, do you want me to do?
yes, please.
They'll both be added under reports. I'm sorry, I didn't know you found it over there. The first one is to add the tentative agreement between the Madison Heights 43rd District Court and the City of Madison Heights. And the second item to be added under report is Toski versus Baker and the City of Madison Heights.
All right, thank you. And those would be added as 10A and 10B.
Yes.
All right, is there support?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'll second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. Any other additions or deletions? All right, then, first up, we have a presentation. It's the condolence resolution for Lila Richards. Thank you. All right. So this is for the family of Lila Richards. Lila Richards was a wonderful volunteer in the community. Whereas it is with profound sorrow that the Madison Heights Mayor and City Council learned of the passing of Lila Richards on April 22nd, 2023. And whereas Lila was the beloved wife of the late James Owen Richards, with whom she had 2 children, Rick Owen Richards, his wife Julie, and Rochelle Carl, husband Kevin, and was a loving grandmother of Deborah and Ted, Allison and Matt, Kelly and Danny, Scott and Louisa, and great-grandmother of Olivia, Mackenzie, James, and Leona. Her children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren have brought her many moments of pride, joy, and happiness throughout the years. And whereas Lila was a 60-year resident of Madison Heights and an active member of the political, social, and charitable community of the city, and whereas Lila was a lifetime member of the Madison Heights Women's Club and the Community Roundtable, a member of the Historical Commission, an organizer of the annual boards and commissions, dinner, and volunteer for the city's nature center. And whereas Lila enjoyed spending time with family and friends, including dinners and gatherings, but her greatest love was for her family. And whereas Lila exemplified a lifetime of cheerfulness and goodwill towards others, and it was the embodiment of kindness. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council of the city of Madison Heights do hereby extend the community's condolences to the family of Lila Richards and hope that her dedication to her family, enduring love, support, and strength that she shared in her lifetime will comfort and console them. Family want to come up? I would- Thank you so much for coming. It was lovely. Thank you. I appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to open the meeting to the public. This is the portion of the meeting where the public has 3 minutes to speak to us. I ask that you come to the podium, speak into the mic, give your name, address, or any affiliation with the city. And with that, the floor is open. Okay, and seeing no one wishing to speak, I'm going to close the meeting open to the public, and we are going to move to the consent agenda. We have item 3 from the Director of Public Services, the 2024 fireworks display permit approval. Item 4, the Director of Public Services, the 2024 Arbor Day resolution. Item 5, the Director of Public Services Civic Center basketball court paving. 6, the Director of Public Services 2024 Drinking Water Week proclamation. 7, the Director of Public Services 2024 West Nile virus reimbursement resolution. 8, resolution annually designating April as Arab Heritage Month. 9, resolution annually designating April as Chaldean Heritage Month. And then 10, the City Council regular meeting minutes of March 25th, 2024. Can I get a motion to approve?
Your Honor. So moved.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor. Support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. And then next up, we have the 2 reports that were just added in as 10A and 10B. Do I need to read those out again?
No, 10A is the tentative labor agreement between the Madison Heights 43rd District Court and the City of Madison Heights.
All right. So can I get a motion to approve 10A, please?
Your Honor, so moved.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. And then 10B, which is the litigation.
So the motion would be to accept the recommendation of special legal counsel made in closed session in the case of Toski versus Baker and the City of Madison Heights.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
Your Honor,
Yes.
so moved.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor. Support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those against say no. Motion carries. And then we have 2 items for bid awards and purchases. First up from the Finance Director, the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission Administrative Agreement.
The current Michigan Indigent Defense Commission, or the MIDC Administrative Services Agreement, is expiring. Wilson & Wilson PC has provided MIDC administrative services since 2019. This proposed agreement is for a 1-year term, renewable yearly for up to 4 additional years. Legal fees, costs, and other compensation related to Wilson's compliance with this agreement are paid through the MIDC grant funds the city receives from the state of Michigan. Therefore, staff recommends that City Council approves this agreement with Wilson & Wilson PC for the MIDC administrative services for up to a 5-year term and authorize the city manager to sign this agreement subject to legal review. And we have 2 representatives from Wilson & Wilson here tonight if you have any questions.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that council approves the agreement with Wilson & Wilson PC for MIDC administrative services up to a 5-year term and authorize the city manager to sign the agreement.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor. Support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Do we need to add in upon legal review?
Your Honor,
Yes.
this contract has been reviewed. We added a provision relating to the city only having no responsibility beyond which the state is reimbursing, making payments to Wilson & Wilson for the MIDC indigent defendant work, and we've worked very well together for many, many years now. So no need to add.
Understood, thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there any other questions, discussions? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those against say no. Motion carries. Thank you. And then we have number 12 from the Finance Director, Professional Auditing Services Contract.
The current agreement for professional auditing services is expiring. An RFP for a 5-year term was issued, and 6 firms submitted proposals. Staff evaluated the proposals for qualifications and fees and had individual interviews with the top 2 candidates. Staff now makes the recommendation to City Council to approve a 5-year contract with Riemann Robinson LLC, also known as Riemann, for professional auditing services, and authorize the mayor and the city clerk to sign the contract subject to legal review.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that we approve the 5-year contract with Riemann for professional auditing services and authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign the contract that's been approved by legal counsel.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Yes.
support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. It is approved. And then last up, we have, for ordinances, we have from the CED Director, Ordinance 2198, the new zoning ordinance and zoning map. This is the first reading.
On March the 19th, City Council and the Planning Commission held a joint public hearing to discuss the complete draft of the new zoning ordinance and map. At this meeting, staff and the city's planning consultants, McKenna, highlighted the key components of the new zoning ordinance and answered questions for the planning commissioners and the city council. After the public hearing, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the new zoning ordinance and map with conditions. After the new zoning ordinance is approved, staff proposes to set aside at least 2 upcoming Planning Commission meetings to discuss revisions and touch-ups to the ordinance. This approach will allow the Planning Commission to send a comprehensive package to mirror zoning amendments to the City Council rather than piecemeal revisions. Based on the Planning Commission's recommendation for approval at this March 19th meeting, staff recommends that City Council approve the first reading of Ordinance 2198 and schedule a second and final reading and a public hearing on May the 13th of 2024 at the City Council meeting. And Matt, our planner, is here tonight if you have any questions or want to, any more details.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that we approve ordinance 2198 on first reading and schedule the second and final reading along with a public hearing for May 13th, 2024.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, I'll save a lot of detailed commentary on this for the next meeting when we pass it on second reading, but this is several years in the making. Our city staff and our planning commission, which includes myself and the mayor, have been meeting basically monthly for about 5 years now to queue this up. First, to be able to do the master plan, and then secondly, to be able to craft this huge new zoning ordinance and map. We hired our consultants, McKenna, who've been incredibly helpful in spearheading this. And I think what we've developed will be the shining city on a hill for all the communities around us as they approach zoning. Now, zoning is not the sexiest thing, but without zoning, anything can move in anywhere. And we saw that a lot in our city where you've had really open-ended zoning regulations and all sorts of things that a standard resident maybe wouldn't want there comes in anyway by right, and we don't have any recourse to stop them. What this new zoning ordinance will do is kind of have this early plan of attack where those types of things that citizens may not want will be regulated to the outskirts of our city in very specific places. And then it also encourages the type of developments we want in places like the DDA. And we've got these innovation districts that we've created specifically in areas of the city that we want unique and heavy development. So really awesome things. And then there's a lot of tangible things for our residents too. Like right now, building an accessory dwelling where you would have like a mother-in-law suite or where an aging like college student would want to live in your house would be very, very difficult to do because of our current existing standards. This new zoning redo actually will allow that to be pretty easy and seamless, even grandfathering in some of your existing structures, so you could build that 500 square foot apartment onto your garage easy and seamlessly in a way that you would not have been able to do before. Obviously, there's regulations and things like this are not going to get out of hand, but the biggest reason a lot of people leave the city is because one of those two things happen, they need more space, and this is going to enable them to build and stay within the city of Madison Heights. And it also fixes issues that have been longstanding, like our ban on pool halls, because we're going to have a 1950s style gang battle at a pool hall, I think. Now those can go anywhere that a bowling alley can. And so things like that that just make a lot of sense have been fully vetted out by all of the professionals on our planning committee, McKenna, our consultants, and then our incredible staff led by our planner, Matt, that have done such phenomenal work on this. I just want to give them credit where credit's due. We can dig into more details when we go into the second reading, but I'm very proud of this effort, and I think it's going to mean a lot to the city for the next 30 years, more so than really anything we do, but it's certainly not going to get the same notoriety as a lot of that work. Zoning is boring, but I assure you this is important.
All right, thank you. Anyone else, any other questions, comments from council? All right, then with that, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. That's it for the general meeting. I invite closing comments. Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
I have a lot tonight, Your Honor, thank you. A lot of stuff, so a lot of good stuff in the consent agenda. In the bids that we put out tonight, good stuff there by our staff and council members for getting those in. A big supporter of redoing the basketball courts and the Arbor Day, and of course the fireworks and Arab and Chaldean Heritage Month. Also big supporter of the drinking water proclamation. In some recent tests I had to have for medical issues I've got going on, they checked my lead level and it was extremely low. So happy to hear that. I drink a lot of water from here in Madison Heights, so we're good there. Mayor Pro Tem Bliss talked about volunteers, and they are the heart of our community. Rich Clark has been a longtime supporter of Little League Baseball for quite a long time. We'll miss him for certainly. I was remiss last meeting in pointing out all the excellent support we get from Justin Kowalski and his team for Little League Baseball. They do a fantastic job of keeping our fields in shape, so big shout out to him. I was able, let's keep going with Little League. Little League opening day is May 11th, 10 o'clock. I would love to see all of council members and mayor there, so mark that on your calendar, please. I'm going to try my best to fill in for Gary's shoes of being the MC / first pitch announcer of that event. So look forward to seeing all your council members there, I hope, and mayor. Speaking of volunteers and supporters of Little League, Councilor Sherman has been also a longtime supporter, and Sean, the last few years, has sponsored a team, and Quinn is going to sponsor a team. So I will do my best to put all three of you in the same division so you can have a little head-to-head competition going on. We'll let you know how that turns out. I was able to attend the State of the Oakland County event last week, which was very informational, a lot of good stuff going on at the county level. I also learned today that 1% of the sun is still an awful lot of light. Because when I heard we were going to have a 99% eclipse, I thought, oh, I got to get my flashlight out. Well, it was still pretty light out. So A big thank you to the Planning Commission, our staff and consultants for all the hard work, as the Mayor Pro Tem Bliss said, on this zoning. It's been desperately needed for a long time, so I thank you for that. And last, but certainly not least, April is Autism Awareness Month, so one of the gifts that I received from my Simon Elementary folks was an autism awareness shirt. And the shirt basically says, in a world where you can basically be anything you want to be, if you put your heart to it, just be kind. Understand that people are not all the same, and there are people that are different than you. Be kind. You have no idea what they're going through. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Bliss?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to start continuing from the invocation about Rich Clark. There's a lot of really great and, just fun and positive memories with Rich, but I think the thing for me, and I think that tells you a lot about somebody's character, is what happens when you disagree. And so probably, 70 or so days into my time on city council, Rich and I had a disagreement over our Information Technology Advisory Committee. Councilman Soltis remembers, and it was one of those things where it's like, new councilman comes in, idea supported by other new councilmen, and then the young mayor pro tem, then Brian Hartwell, and Rich wanted to make absolute sure that it wouldn't change too much too quickly, that we weren't giving people in an advisory committee too much power. And so we had some debate, and there were 3 alternate versions of the adoption resolution for ITAC that came out. There was a public debate, and I will never forget 2 things as it relates to that. The first is that Rich ultimately voted for it. The decision, the one that I had proposed originally, after all the debate at the table, he ended up supporting it. And the second thing I will never forget is probably 2 years later, after we had made some major changes in IT, most of which led from ITAC's recommendations. I got a call from Rich Clark thanking me for proving him wrong. And that, to me, is the mark of a true leader, somebody who truly cared, let their passions out, but also understood when they were wrong, and understanding of how the city could progress, and never got in the way despite there was the disagreement. And so I loved serving with Rich. It was not just an honor, but I think, and Councilman Soltis would probably agree, being able to serve with him early on in our council careers helped make us better council members. And so I thank him. I offer condolences to his family during this difficult time. And I truly hope there are a lot more Rich Clarks out there. In an era of such political divisiveness, you can disagree and then come back to the table. You can move forward, and you can stay friends and neighbors throughout all of it. So, hopefully his life becomes a lesson, and we just get more Rich Clarks in the world. Other things that I need to mention, speaking of volunteers, we're doing a big, and I say big, the presentation is big, and it's been a lot of work. I don't know how many people will show up, but we're recording it. We're going to be doing a history of music in Madison Heights and beyond, right before the city council meeting, which is a unique night next week. So it was originally going to be the 22nd. That meeting got moved to the 15th, and we've got Northern Audio's owner, Michael Shepard, along with a couple of special guests, talking about the move from playing music on wax cylinders all the way to streaming. And we're going to talk about some of the the shops that were in our city that were manufacturing cassettes and 8-tracks through the years. It's going to be a very, very cool presentation, and provided that we have enough volunteers to be able to make sure the room is in perfect order, we will also be previewing our heritage rooms that night for about a half hour, allowing the public to see some of the great stuff that's down there as well. So I hope you'll join me, learn about the Temptations to Taylor Swift and everything in between. It'll be a very, very, very fun and I think lively discussion, along with some hands-on. I don't know how many people have ever touched and played an 8-track, but you're going to have that chance. So definitely bring the I know. But bring the kids out, because they probably haven't done that, and that'll be a fun experience for them, because they're used to telling Google and Alexa what to play at any given time. And then I also want to give you a save the date. The amazing folks on the Arts Board, we're doing our second annual gala, but we're changing it up a little bit this year. And so on November 8th, it is a Friday night, we're doing our first disco. So it's going to be 70s themed. We want everybody to bring out the bell bottoms, grow out the chest hair, be ready to dance to some Bee Gees and ABBA. It'll be a great time, and all the money that we raise goes and is reinvested into the hard work and great project that the Arts Board is doing. So mark that on your calendars. You don't want to miss it. Tickets will start to go on sale about a month from now, and you're going to want to pick it up because we expect them to sell out this year. We had over 100 people at our inaugural gala last year. We can only fit about 300 in the hall, so it's going to sell fast, so make sure you get your tickets. That's it tonight, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wright?
I just want to echo Bill's sentiment. Just remember to be kind. There's a lot of people in the world right now who are struggling for various reasons. As we sit here and pontificate and just get to sit in this climate control room, I would just remind us to remember to be kind, because there are people who are really going through it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Sherman?
A couple of comments, Your Honor. First of all, it's kind of in the nature of a public service announcement. The Madison Heights Police Department put out a press release relating to a scam that's based on spoofing. Spoofing is when a person can use their cell phone and disguise it as a phone number like the Madison Heights Police Department, impersonate a police officer, and attempt to secure money from our citizens by threatening them that there's a bench warrant out for their arrest, and unless they pay X dollars, someone's going to come to their house and pick them up. So I want our citizens to be aware that if you get a call like that, hang up the phone, call the Madison Heights Police Department, report it, indicate what the impersonator was doing, because it's very easy to verify whether it's a true. First of all, our police don't call people at their houses asking for money in exchange for not not picking them up on a bench warrant. It doesn't happen that way. But people can be gullible, and spoofing the phone number business would register like the main number of the Madison Heights Police Department, and it's actually some third party from who knows where doing this scam. So I wanted to bring it to people's attention. Secondly, I was very saddened to hear about the passing of Rich Clark. He was a fixture on this council for a long time. I agree with Mayor Pro Tem Bliss's comments. Rich could agree to disagree on a topic without being disagreeable. He was just a delightful person. He always had the city's best interests in mind. He was always open to discussing a topic and willing to listen to someone else's viewpoint on any given topic, and then make the call himself based upon whatever information he was able to gather. So my condolences to his longtime friend, Peggy Macrina. Rich's wife, Lois, was just a sweetheart, and Peggy and Rich were very close companions after Lois's passing. Peggy's son, Bernie, was a police officer in our department for many, many years. So condolences to her and all of Rich's children and grandchildren. He's a fixture in Madison Heights. He will be sorely missed. And I would say the same thing of Lila Richards, who we council honored tonight with a memorial resolution. When I was a much younger lawyer, I went to a Madison Heights police ball that was held at the old San Marino Club in Troy, and those parties were the wildest and great fun. And I just happened to sit at a table with Jim and Lila Richards. And boy, what a fortuitous thing it was, because we became friends for the next 40-plus years. Just because they were just so happy to see you anytime you ran into one another. They were both very civic-minded, participated in everything. And when you talk about people like former Councilman Rich Clark, and you talk about Lila and Jim Richards, that's what really makes, the city the greatest, because of people like that. So I'm very glad that we got around to honoring Lila. And it's been a year, but condolences to the entire Richards family. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mrs. Marsh?
Just a few things. It was already mentioned once, but our regular council meeting is going to be next Monday, not 2 weeks from now. And next Monday, if you're so interested, we are going to be covering the budget presentation. So the most exciting council meeting of the year. So come out and join us for that, following the history of music, of course. Other than that, I wanted to give a shout out to Matt. So we've talked a lot about the new zoning ordinance and this consultant McKenna, and we did have a consultant for that. But this was a very heavy lift for our planning department of one person, who is Matt. We do have a community development department, but Matt did a lot of work on this and did an excellent job, in my opinion. So thank you very much for that. And that is it.
Anything from the clerk's office this evening?
I just also want to express my condolences to Rich Clark's family on his passing.
Thank you.
Just a couple things. The Arbor Day, we're going to be having an Arbor Day celebration at the Madison Heights 5K. So if you're interested and want to celebrate trees with us, come out to the 5K. It'll be going on during the 5K at the Nature Center. That's on April the 20th. There's also still time for you to sign up for the 5K. So if you are excited about exercising at 8 a.m. on a Saturday, that is your time to shine. I just want to note, we did have a State of the County this past week. I was able to attend, and it was really great to hear Brenda Voris, who's one of our local business owners. She has Design to Shine at Chairs Salon Suites, and she was mentioned during that State of the County about the work that she was doing, her business and her growing business. So it was fun to see one of our own featured at that event. I also want to say thank you and to Melissa Marsh and the city staff for the work on the Energy Futures Grant. I'm allowed to talk about this still, right?
Yes, they
Okay.
made their press release and changed it to Michigan.
I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I haven't actually seen this go out, but it is, so Madison Heights, I think we're the only Michigan community.
The city of Detroit as well, but there's only 40 awards nationwide.
So 40 awards nationwide, 2 in Michigan, and 1 is Madison Heights, and it includes Madison Heights, Oak Park, Ferndale, and the Lanphier School District, and I'm going to be receiving $500,000 for a regional decarbonization plan. So it's going to help us enhance our energy efficiency and affordability, access our fleet mobility and transformation. It's going to reduce our expenses related to energy waste for our city. So it's a really exciting thing. It took a ton of work, and the very fact I was talking to at the State of the County the other day, I was talking to somebody from Senator Peters' office, and he was talking about how great our city staff is and how wonderful that they are able to come up and present. He says, we have funding for this, and they can say, we need that funding, and they do it so well, and he was just so complimentary, so I just wanted to extend that publicly. Thank you to everybody who works on these grants. And I'm excited to be reducing energy waste in our city, so that's even more wonderful. In addition, the Environmental Citizens Committee met last week, and we were able to get our first glance at kind of the pretty final draft of our master sustainability plan. So there's still a little bit more to go before it's final, but I'm really excited about that, and I will be sharing more about it into the future. And then the last thing I want to talk about is, today I was at work, like most of us, many of us, and those of us that have children at Page Middle School, we got a text or a email today saying that our students were in lockdown. And it wasn't an imminent threat. It wasn't, I didn't feel like I need to run to the school and get my kids or anything like that. But what it was we don't know any of the details really, right? But we know that somebody wrote something on a school bathroom wall that was threatening and scary. And our police department did the right thing. Our school did the right thing. They shut it down, they locked down, and they were able to identify who it was and all of that stuff, and they were able to deal with it. But I just want to, as a parent, next year I'll have 3 kids at Page Middle School, but I have 1 there now. But at any school, at any age, they can be children, all the way through young adults that are attending our schools and doing things. And it's easy for kids to kind of lose sight of the seriousness of things. They can lose sight of just how traumatizing and scary those things can be. They might think it's funny or a joke or, it's just a silly prank. It's not. And so I know that I have had conversations today with my children, and I hope that we all do it, no matter what school we're in, where in the life path that our children are, no matter how wonderful and without faults we think our children are. I think it would behoove us all to have serious conversation with our kids about taking these things seriously and remembering that this is not a joke. It is never a joke. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fleming?
Yep. First, I want to give my condolences to the Clark family. I know Rich Clark was also a veteran of the United States. I think it was the Army, or maybe, I forget which one it was. But, and me and him talked a few times about his military experience, and it's really great that he was able to give so much to his country and also the city here at Madison Heights. So my condolences to his family. Also, today was, we did 2 proclamations, one for Arab Heritage Month and one for Chaldean Heritage Month. And so the federal government recently changed part of the Census Bureau and made some changes to the categories that you can choose while choosing your background and your ethnicity and your race, to include a new category of Middle Eastern North Africa. And this includes countries from the western tip of northern Africa, such as Morocco, all the way back to the west, which is Morocco, and to the east of Israel. I think that our city should make a new policy and update it so that we have those options available to all of our residents to identify themselves as Middle Eastern, North African. And then finally, the residents have been asking about the citywide garage sale, and that's not going to be happening until June. I'm sure that you have plenty of time now to be able to gather everything in your garages and in your houses and get them ready for the garage sale. So can't wait to go garage sale. That's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Soltis?
Thank you, Your Honor. I too am sorry to hear about Lila Richards. I got to know her through those famous tea parties. And so Larry, about some of the parties, you got to go to that, well, when they have them again. Those are the times where Brian and myself were auctioned off. So it was a fun time. But also, with Rich Clark, I was very fond of him. He sat only 2 away from me. We actually worked together with those home repairs for helping seniors. And so I wasn't the greatest at it. And And so one time we did the faucet, the light bulbs, the garbage disposal, and so he was just showing me how to do it, and I was doing all the heavy work. But it was a good time, and I I considered him kind of a mentor. Sometimes, and it's funny that I was going to I had a story too about where he and I kind of disagreed with something, and it was with the police fence. And so him and I were talking, and then, he didn't really say one way or another, but when the vote came down, he voted unanimous. And I thanked him for that afterwards. And but now we're going to go on May 1st back to Lansing for the senior trip. And so if you haven't been there, it's a fantastic time. Last time we went, before COVID, we had about 35 seniors there in the bus, and then Corey Haynes and I had to drive separately. But it's a good time. It's right on the lawn. It hasn't rained how many times we went. And you get a box lunch, you get a free trip there and back, and then we go up and look at the gallery, and then I go down and give the names to everybody, and they announce it on the floor. So it's a great time. It really is. And that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I met Rich Clark before I came on to council. He was one of the people that I talked to for advice and just to sort of get an idea with the city. And I think the first time that I met him would have been in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, sometime in that area when we did our, we call it we reached out to the Crime Commission because we were going to do, drawing a blank on it, but is when everyone gets together to keep an eye out for Neighborhood Watch, thank you. For Neighborhood Watch, draw a blank on that. And he came out, we were at I remember being at the neighbor's backyard, and this person who wasn't a neighbor showed up to talk to us about it, and I think that was the first time that I met him. So definitely he left his imprint on the city, and he will be missed. And I can't believe Lila's been gone for a year, but yeah, a year ago, and she also left her imprint on the city. She was just a great person, both of them were. But on to happier things. Yes, I'm very happy that we're getting this grant. City Manager Melissa Marsh and staff have been doing a phenomenal job getting these grants. And as Councilor Roebuck said, just, whenever there is a grant, she says, yep, I've got something for that, I've got something for that. So it has really, really helped, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that in our budget meeting next week. But it's great that we've got that. So when I was at the State of the City, it was funny that that they did specifically mention Brenda. So she does a few different things at chairs, but I was sitting there and I was wearing a necklace and a bracelet that were hers. And I turned to the person next to me and I said, I'm wearing Brenda. I'm wearing her right now. So it was really great. It was really cool to get that shout out for her. And then later on, someone said to me, where did you get that necklace from? And I said, oh, I'm going to hook you up. So I was able to introduce her at like 8:30 at night to Brenda. So that was great. She really does a lot. She really is a good person. The zoning ordinances have taken up a lot of time, as Pro Tem Bliss said. And Matt, thank you so much for all your work on that. We've all had, all of Planning Commission had input in it. And Matt was just great with the way that he went through everything. And there were no stupid questions. You could ask something and we could go through it. And it was really, really good conversations and really, really tedious, detailed work there. So thank you, Matt, for all the work that you did with that. And then finally, today was a solar eclipse. And it was really cool. I hung out with the kids at Lessinger, and they had sun-kissed drinks, and they had sun chips, and they had moon pies, and they really took it to that level of having the food that was there. So it was really good. And yeah, Mr. Mears said with the 1% of sun, I kept putting my glasses on and taking them off, and then I was like, oh, we've got to sit like this for 4 minutes. So it was really, really cool. So thank you to everyone who helped organize different things for that as well. Our next meeting is going to be on April 15th, and then our meeting after that is going to be May 13th. So this meeting is adjourned at 8:15. Thank you. Melissa.